6 weeks ago, most casual American sports fans could not have told you a single thing about Erling Haaland beyond maybe recognizing his name from a highlight clip. By the time this summer's World Cup wrapped up, that same striker had become one of the most beloved figures in the entire country, and the surprising part is that the feeling turned out to be completely mutual. While America was busy falling head over heels for this towering Norwegian, Haaland was quietly falling in love right back, openly praising the country, its fans, and the entire experience at every opportunity he got. In this video, we are going to walk through exactly why Haaland fell so hard for America during this tournament, break down the specific moments and comments that revealed it, and explore why that mutual affection turned into one of the most heartwarming subplots of the entire summer. So, let us get into it. To understand why this connection felt so genuine, you have to remember where Haaland was coming from before this tournament even began. Norway had not qualified for a Men's World Cup since 1998, 2 full years before Haaland was even born. And he had spent his entire career hearing about how frustrating it was to sit at home watching other nations compete on the sport's biggest stage. When Norway finally secured qualification with a dominant 4-1 win in Italy, Haaland admitted afterward that he felt happy, but honestly more relieved than anything else, acknowledging the enormous pressure that had been building around this campaign. That long-awaited arrival in the United States gave the entire experience an extra layer of meaning from the very beginning, and it did not take long for Haaland to start expressing just how much he was enjoying every part of it. Before we get further into what Haaland actually said about America, take a second to hit that like button and make sure you are subscribed, because we are covering every heartwarming storyline from this tournament as it wraps up. It only takes a second, and it genuinely helps the channel. Alright, let us keep going. Part of why Haaland's affection for America felt so believable is that Americans had already fallen for him first, and for reasons that had very little to do with soccer tactics. Throughout the tournament, Haaland leaned fully into a light-hearted, almost goofy public persona, documenting his World Cup journey through his own YouTube channel and repeatedly reminding viewers of a simple mantra he lives by, saying that one thing in life is to never take yourself too seriously and to just enjoy whatever is happening around you. That carefree attitude showed up constantly, whether it was him tapping a young mascot on the shoulder before Norway's match against Brazil and grinning as the child excitedly shouted his name, or laughing on the pitch during the England quarterfinal while his close friend Jude Bellingham marked him defensively. Combine that easygoing charm with his towering 6'5" frame and his ability to physically dominate opposing defenses, and it created a contrast American fans found impossible to resist. Someone who looked terrifying on the field and completely approachable off of it. That growing affection turned out to be a two-way street. In comments shared during the tournament, Haaland spoke directly and warmly about the American fans who had spent weeks cheering him on, saying he genuinely liked Americans and finding them kind of hilarious, adding that he simply liked the way they carried themselves. That kind of specific, unprompted praise for a country's fans is relatively uncommon among international athletes, and it landed exactly the way you would expect with an audience that had already fallen for his personality, transforming casual appreciation into something that felt like real mutual affection between Haaland and the country hosting him. Beyond just the fans themselves, Haaland made clear that his appreciation extended to the tournament experience as a whole. Describing his time at the World Cup, he said that honestly every single thing about the tournament being held in the United States had been amazing. A broad and enthusiastic endorsement that stood out given how demanding and physically taxing a deep World Cup run typically is. He also reflected on the surreal nature of Norway's specific path through the competition, noting that beating Brazil felt kind of crazy for Norwegians, and that following it up by playing England in a World Cup quarterfinal held in the United States felt genuinely special. That sense of wonder, even from a player already accustomed to competing at the highest levels of club football in Europe, suggested that something about this particular tournament, in this particular country, had made a real impression on him. Much of the affection Haaland showed toward America played out through the same social media presence that had already made him a viral sensation throughout the tournament. His goofy videos exploring different American cities, became a defining feature of Norway's run, with Haaland and his teammates leaving an impression everywhere they traveled, from wowing crowds in North Carolina and Boston to captivating fans in New York and Dallas. Norway's colorful traveling supporters, known for their now famous Viking Row celebration, brought their own energy to every stop along the way. And Haaland embraced that traveling circus atmosphere rather than treating it as a distraction from the seriousness of tournament competition. By the time Norway reached Miami to face England in the quarter-finals, stepping directly into what many were calling Messi's adopted home turf, the mutual affection between Haaland and American audiences had already reached a level that some commentators compared to the cultural impact of a beloved television character winning over an entire country almost overnight. What made this entire love affair even more compelling to American fans was how consistently modest Haaland remained despite his surging popularity. Even as his personal brand grew rapidly throughout the tournament, with social media algorithms increasingly built around content featuring him, Haaland kept a notably grounded perspective on Norway's actual chances, repeatedly emphasizing gratitude simply for the opportunity to compete on the world's biggest stage against the best teams in the world rather than dwelling on lofty expectations. That combination of skyrocketing fame paired with genuine humility became one of the defining traits fans associated with his entire American experience, reinforcing the idea that his affection for the country never felt performative or calculated, but instead like the honest reaction of someone genuinely enjoying an experience he had waited his whole life to have. For American fans, watching this relationship develop in real time carried a special kind of charm precisely because it felt so unscripted. Nobody engineered Haaland's viral moments or his warm comments about American fans. They emerged naturally over the course of 6 weeks as he traveled the country, competed at the highest level, and simply let his personality come through in every interview and social media post along the way. That authenticity is exactly why so many commentators drew comparisons to the way a beloved fictional character can occasionally capture a nation's heart, arguing that Haaland's blend of humility, humor, and physical dominance created a version of that same phenomenon playing out in real time on the world's biggest sporting stage. At the end of the day, this story became one of the most heartwarming subplots of the entire World Cup precisely because the affection ran in both directions. America fell for Haaland's goofy charm, his towering presence on the field, and his genuine humility off of it, while Haaland, in turn, kept expressing real appreciation for the fans, the cities, and the overall experience of competing on American soil for the very first time. Whether or not Norway ever returns to a World Cup with this same magic, this summer will likely be remembered as the moment an entire country fell in love with a player they barely knew existed just weeks earlier. And the feeling, by every indication, was completely mutual. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you are subscribed so you catch our next video the moment it drops, because a summer like this one deserves to be remembered in full.